Wait, I purchased on the Barbarian. The Porthos are tied to the classes too? What?
Oh,
You've got to be. Are you kidding me, Blizzard? Ladies and gentlemen, today I'm brought in part by my good friend Veldshot, and we're going to be talking about the best class in Diablo Immortal. Or anyway, that's the pitch of the video. We both are currently Necromancer. I just swapped to Necromancer less than an hour ago for the sake of a video of the show, duplicating rings, because if you didn't know, you can duplicate rings, but that's in a different video, so you can watch that. But it's fair to say we've played what's probably considered the two most reputable classes at this point, do you think?
Yeah, and I can see that you can't get away from it. You just keep going back.
Yeah, this is my third time going back to the Necromancer. I keep playing these other classes, and I'm like, Necro. And then I get bored of the Necro again. I'm like, okay, let me try something else. And I'm like, no, dude, Necro. Like, it's the Necro. Now, for me, it's been, I would say Wizard was like 7 out of 10 in terms of my personal enjoyment, and Necro is like the 10 out of 10. It's the benchmark for me. I started playing it ironically in the beginning because I look like the profile picture, but then it literally is my favorite class, just bar none so far. So what's your opinion on playing Necromancer so far?
I don't have too much experience with it because I've farmed like 40 hours and I still don't have like half the legendary items. It's just, I've been a little unlucky. Still don't have bone pillars, by the way, which is just, I can't PvP right now. But I actually have been enjoying summoning. I really have, especially with the way I farm. Like, I just literally drop, my summons and then go do something on the side and they kill stuff for like a minute, which is like way cool. But the one thing that really, really annoys me about the class is it doesn't move, like when you're playing the wizard, you like teleport over terrain and somehow you're in the jeweler and you don't have to walk around the whole map. And then if you're playing satyr, you have a permanent horse. So it's like I went from satyr, which is 60% movement speed for like 12 seconds with all the buffs. And then you have wizard with triple teleport. And then you have necro, which is you just walk.
I will admit to the fact, I'll admit to it, the mobility leaves something to be desired for the Necromancer. You make a point there, okay? I mean, that's fair enough. My problem is when I'm playing these other classes, let's say, okay, wizard though, right? Here's why I like necro better than wizard. You're right about that. But the mobility with wizard, does it actually matter? Now, this teleport's nice to have, but most of the times what we're going to be doing is warp, like right at the start of the rift, warping ahead 3 times instantly to get to the first minion pack, and then sitting there and wait on the teleport, and we have one kind of almost dead DPS skill. So for me, I don't even know if I want to use teleport anyway in PvE, right?
Yeah, no, I agree with rifts. And actually, I talked about this. I think that in challenge rifts and things like that, you may just want to go with a 4th DPS skill because it doesn't really do a crazy amount. The big use of teleport there is like the clone, so that you can like maybe tank some hits for you.
That's true.
It's more for me like the thing that I want to do is make the content that I do 90% of the time better. And so like let's be honest, I ship farm. Like so that's what I do 70% of the day. And with teleport, you can teleport like from the dock, the deck to like the stern or whatever you call it. I don't know boat terms here, but you could teleport over terrain. So it's like that the 5 seconds that I have to pay attention turns into 3 seconds. So I'm like, nice, like that's
okay. So we're almost having we're almost going to have a debate here. If you're taking the wizard stance, I'm taking the necromancer stance. Okay, so that's a fun way to do it because for me, it's like I get that. But if we're talking almost lazy man's aspect, I still like the necro better because all I got to do is summon the golem and go AFK for 45 seconds or however long it may be, right?
You're right about that, and that is something that I'm getting because I am running skeletons and golem, and sometimes the skeletons can deal with the normal packs for me. If I can literally just walk away and they'll be good. So I'm getting used to that, and if I get some more legendary items, I think necro might become a little bit more in my favor. For sure, because of those summons, they're really nice. I can't disagree with that.
Somehow I have missed the cosmetic pour though from season 3. I actually purchased the empowered one, so that is super confusing. Wait, it's barbarian? I purchased on the barbarian. The Porthos are tied to the classes too? What? Oh. You've got to be. Are you kidding me, Blizzard?
That is hilarious.
I had no idea. Why are the Porthos tied? to the class. That is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. This is going to side rail this entire video for me. Like, what? Oh, man, actually, okay, sorry. That just pisses me off. Like, what am I doing? I bought this on the other class, so it's on Barbarian, Blizzard. I'm never going to play Barbarian again. I hate him. Oh, no.
Oh, my. That is the worst class. They should give you an option. Like, here's 500 turtle orbs. You can unlock it for every class. Why don't they do that?
I'll pay extra for every class. At least give me the opportunity to buy it for every class. Like, this is a one and done. Okay, sorry. Completely off topic. But good Lord, that pissed me off. Because I was going to go cosmetics. I was like, hum-de-dum-de-dum. Let me talk about all the exciting cosmetics. This class looks pretty good. Okay, but trying to recover from this gut punch from nowhere from Blizzard. So which cosmetics do you think are actually better? Both the actual paid cosmetics as well as the equipment cosmetics?
Ooh, I actually really like the Immortal ones. That's the first thing I'll mention. I think it actually looks pretty sick. One thing I'll note is the wings are red, or like orange red. I kind of like to pair it with an orange red cosmetic. I'm not a huge fan of the Bloodsworn. I don't like that much.
I don't like it either.
So I'm a little sad at that. Whereas like the Wizard, I think looks great in the Bloodsworn. So, that's a little unfortunate. Also, all right, I don't want to make this too specific, but the Heiress to West March one, that one's a little sus. I'm not going to lie.
This one is beyond sus, bro. Week one, I was like, this is going to be the only cosmetic I never buy. I'm going to get canceled. I can't buy this and wear this. Like, come on. What are you doing to me?
Diablo 2 is probably one of my favorites. The Diablo 2, I think that's pretty cool. Like it glows and it kind of like fiery effect. Overall, the Diablo 2 and the Aspect of Justice have been the coolest for me. I like both of those.
The Aspect of Justice, beefy. This is actually quite good. I know we're way off topic now. But the cosmetics are part of it for me. All right, I'm sorry. I take the cosmetics a little bit too seriously in these type of games. Okay, so let's talk overall skills, because this is something else I feel about Wizard, which is like Wizard has, I would say 1/3 of their skills are like mandatory, like really good, right?
Okay, so this is something I'm very passionate about because I went from Satyr to Wizard to Necro. Satyr, you run Horse all the time, right? Wizard, you run Teleport 90% of the time, or Ice Crystal with Disintegrate, right? You run specific skill combos.
Right.
Crusader had Banner plus Horse. You go to Necro, I literally, when I first made the Necro, I'm like, wait a second, I have a 4th skill. I literally have that revelation. Like, I have a 4th skill slot. It is really nice. And that is something that I've really appreciated with the Necro over anything else.
They have something that like basically no other class does, which is a reason to use either of the basic attacks. Like they actually have multiple basic attacks that are good, which is crazy to me that other classes literally just basically don't have this. I mean, maybe you could argue like the Magic Missile is better if you have the main hand and you're doing a Shao Bass set or something. Like we've theory crafted me and Kyra that the Wizard could have a pretty insane basic attack, right? But the Necro has an AoE basic, basically, with like an insane offhand combo, and then one that's just like statistically better in PvP because the animation's way easier and also pierces. So it's like you have a reason for each one. And every single one of these skills, arguably not Bone Spirits or Corpse Lance, but still, I mean, you could still argue either one of those, have a build. Like their Corpse Explosion is a build. Literally the non-modified Bone Wall is a cheese build. You have the full summon build. You can go Dark Curse. You can go Bone Armor. You can go Wraith Form. Like you can go Bone Wall, the Bone Wall modified version. Even Grim Scythe has a use in some weird ways. So it's, for me, I think Necro is fun because I don't feel pigeonholed. Like I don't feel like, when I'm playing Wizard, I feel like, okay, if I go into PvP, I'm freezing people and I'm trying to crystal combo. But in Necro, and to be fair enough, in Necro is way about one build in PvP. Fair enough. But I've seen some other people popping off with other styles like utility stuff of just blocking whole rows with bone walls. And in the vault, there's the bone wall block where you can just block people off inside if you're defending, etc. So there's some stuff you can do with it that's kind of cool. That's my argument for the skills. I think the Necromancer actually has, in my opinion, a better setup in terms of enjoyability from the variety, the spice of life.
Yep, I agree. See, with Necro, I've seen, like, I'm looking at all the legendary items, right? And I'm like, okay, you could maybe do some sort of dot build with maybe like Bone Spikes dot, Bone Spear, whatever the basic's called. And then you can kind of combo all those dot skills together, maybe get to going with like a Grace 2-piece set, really get something good there. But, and then you have the support build. But with Wizard, let's be honest here. There are two builds in PvP, and one of them I would not recommend anyone run unless you have high resonance. You have the double beam build, which you drop the clone, and then you run the disintegrate. You go ice crystal. You go full damage, full CC. Don't even recommend that for the majority of people who don't have high resonance because you can't do much damage. Then you have the build, which I suggest 99% of players run, and that is Black Hole, Ice Crystal, Ray of Frost. And you just become like a CC machine with 2 screens of range. I will say, after swapping from Wizard to Necro, I think that Wizard is a better class than Necro in like overall strength. I think the Wizard is just broken. I don't think that they should have all of what they have. Like they have 2 screens of range, they have infinite CC with channeling, and then they also have one of the strongest mobility moves in the game in PvP. It's like maybe just a little too much.
They've got a lot of things. Like for me, I don't understand why I would play. Like, let me put it this way. If I'm playing a wizard, what is its competition for ranged PvP? Like, it's what, Demon Hunter, right? Is like the only other like ranged PvP class. You could argue Necro, but it's like Necro is, in my personal opinion, they're the CC people, so people like the wizard can kill them. The problem with Necromancer is all of your abilities in PvP, when you're trying to do the CC type of thing, you're choosing one or the other. You're either doing damage with your summon type of build, which are basically getting killed instantly. Like your summons don't survive in PvP, basically. If you have anyone with any sort of well wings at all, they're just going to chew through your summons in like literally half a second. So you can't really go for like, okay, I'm going the faux PvP damage build, which means you're really relying on CC. But the wizard, when you're CCing people, does damage while CCing, and you're not sacrificing damage to CC. It's not like, okay, let me cut my damage by 60% in order to have 60% better CC. It's like, no, let me put literally the best CC, AoE, team-wide, auto-targeting, aimbot ability in the game while also doing like completely strong damage. And while having the longest range in the game, and let's not forget that half of the time you literally can't even see what's hitting you anyway. So, you know, with mobility, which you've already covered, with mobility. So it's not, that's in PvP. I think I would have to tip my hat to the wizard. But let's talk PvE for a moment. Do you think the Necromancer has a chance to edge out the wizard in PvE?
Okay, so this is something that you and I kind of have a lot of experience on, because we were kind of comparing our builds running through dungeons when I was a wizard, you were a Necro.
That's true, yeah.
And I think that from coming from Wizard, going to Necro, and then seeing your build, I think that Necro just completely demolishes. I'm going to be, maybe this is a hot take, every class in PvE in terms of damage on bosses. I think they are the most nuts classes. You drop, I don't know, a double, triple skeleton mage. You drop your skeletal champions, whatever it is. You're running all your summons. You have your 6-piece shepherd set. You run your dark curse. You frenzy all of them. They're instantly like 60. It's absolutely broken. It's the most absurd damage I've ever seen. The only problem is that sometimes your cooldowns don't match up with the phases from what I've seen. But they do the most. Like if you had a boss like the Golem or like the Blood Rose, they would put everyone else to shame. Oh,
look at that. My 2 free legendary crests that I have. I haven't spent money forever, but I had 2 crests, and I was like, let's run them. And look at that. We got Blood-Soaked Jade. That's a 2-star, but you know what? So I can't sell it because it's a normal gem. And I can't really upgrade my Blood-Soaked because it's rank 5. But all right, we got a Blood-Soaked Jade, ladies and gentlemen. I guess it's just going to sit there for a minute, but we have it. Now, I actually agree with that. I think that in terms of burst opportunity, Necromancer has these bursting windows, mostly because of the build I'm running, where you're running the Anointed Shoulders, where you can stack double mage, which is actually pretty crazy, to be honest. If you put up 2 of these at the same time, while you're using the channeled one, while you have the grace set, which after multiple hits will end up applying more damage, etc. The Grace of the Flagellant set, this set here. And this is what I need to get the full 6, because even the 6-piece set is absolutely ridiculous. And that would trigger it. So you build these full builds, and then you use the Dark Curse, or even they have the Bone Armor too. So like if you drop Molten Golem, you can use the Covet Nothing Bone Armor, which is quite literally what I'm wearing here. And you can drop the Golem for this, and then you just double mage plus your Skeleton Charge plus your Dark Curse, or you can either use the Shepherd set or the Grace set, either one, okay? And then you just absolutely demolish these people. You have huge burst window opportunities. So
insane.
Yeah, and PvE bosses, they might be one of the best, like, straight-up boss damage that I've seen in the game. I think this is further confirmed by, I think, what was it? The top warbands that we have seen were running like quad Necro, right? In terms of time.
Yep. Yeah, and I don't think that. I think that's what's strange about it is like you think of like Demon Hunter and you think of like Wizard, or maybe not Wizard so much, but more Demon Hunter. They're like pure single target damage. I don't agree with that generally. Like you have multi-shot, you have Rain of Vengeance, oftentimes you have piercing basic attacks, whereas Necro generally is like full single target. Like skeletons only hit a single target. Your mages, yes, they can kind of laser beam through, but it's in one direction. It's kind of hard to do some AoE on it. And you're generally locked into like pure single target damage compared to like the Wizard, for example, or the Demon Hunter, where your multi-shots hitting everyone in the big cone in front of you. Your Rain of Vengeance is a big circle. Maybe Demon Hunter isn't like a crazy AoE damage dealer, but they're not as hardcore single target as you think generally. So.
Well, or even the point that it's like the burst, like we're talking about with things like Covet Nothing and being able to summon multiple mages in the Dark Curse. Burst isn't something that matters when we're talking about normal minion mobs. Like when you're talking about blue mobs, white mobs, even yellow mobs, I mean, burst windows aren't really where it matters, but in bosses it is. And bosses are the only time that single damage really matters anyway. So it's just because of that concept, typically the fact that Necro, for whatever reason, is one of the only really classes that they gave these really big burst windows to. I kind of think doubles down your point. As far as I go, I would say where I'm at with it is Necromancer for me is more fun than the Wizard, personally, because I don't like standing in place channeling. That's just not a gameplay style I enjoy personally. I understand some people may really like that. Some people, that might be their thing. I'm not negging on it. I just don't like it. So for me, Necromancer is more fun because I would rather run around and drop a mage anyway. But fun's not what we're talking about. We're talking about utility and viability. And in PvP, you have some of the best CC in the game, if not the best CC in the game for PvP, personally, right next to the Ray of Frost. Because I think you go, Ray of Frost is absolutely nuts. Then we have Zoominen's Backbone, would be how I would think. And then it's like maybe Proximal Fear or any of the other Black Hole maybe as a number 3.
Black Hole, yeah. And then that's I agree, yeah.
So basically in PvP, you have an argument with Wizard. Wizard probably wins, but you have an argument with it. But in PvE, it feels like in terms of damage, I would rather have a Necromancer the majority of the times. It's hard to argue for pack clearing because I think overworld farming and standard minion mobs, they're either the same or maybe Wizard has a little bit of an edge.
Yeah, I agree with this pretty much 100%. I think that what's cool about it is like you can pair these classes together very well. Like oftentimes running something like a Wizard and then running Ice Crystal. When you want to clear, let's say Destruction's End is a really good example of this. You're running through and you have those stages where like a bunch of mobs spawn all around the circle. You drop an Ice Crystal in the middle and then you laser them all and it's completely over. You can pair with Necro laser beams and now your Necro is doing AoE damage. So it's really nice to pair these classes together. But I agree, like Wizard, oftentimes, one build I did want to mention that I had so much fun with on the Wizard is a teleport explosion like suicide build. And this is something that you can't really run unless you have high resonance because you just get one shot and you don't do any damage. But what I was doing is I was running a 4-piece Vithu set and a 2-piece Shaw Boss set. And what was happening is I would run like the Scorch Orbs that teleport around you, and then I would run Lightning Nova. So you would speed up and give yourself 30% attack speed for 4 seconds.
Okay.
Teleport onto someone, your Scorch hits them all, your teleport damages them, and then you proc your Lightning Nova, and now you're just smacking them really quickly with autos. And that also works with overworld farming because you just teleport through and you just keep walking. You don't turn around, you just keep walking. Your orbs hit them as you run past, and they're really fast about that. So yeah, definitely faster in overworld farming if you're doing like Realm of Damnation. If you're lazy farming, I could absolutely see a Necro argument because of the summons for sure.
Lazy farming, I think Necro is going to have your edge on it. But I agree with that. Especially the Ice Blizzard. There's Storm Armor and Ice Armor, which has the constant AoE damage. I used the Ice Armor version of that when I was a Wizard. And what was nice to be able to have that up all of the time, or any of the other abilities that just constantly, like Ray of Frost only does Blizzard. So all you really have to do, like you're saying, is teleport into a pack and kind of kill them instantly. Also, one thing I want to mention. The Wizard is one of the only people that can CC Treasure Goblins. It's a super tiny thing. But the Ray of Frost helmet with the freeze will actually freeze the goblins but normally goblins are immune to like CC. So just
I've noticed that they were chilled. I've never seen them be frozen. So I'll have to look back because I don't pay attention when I'm killing treasure golems.
All right, well, now you got me questioning myself because I've seen here thinking like, yeah, no, I've frozen these like 10 times. Like I'm pretty sure, but maybe I'm way off now. You got me questioning myself. But okay, so if you had to give it to somebody, so let me ask you this: if you had to give it to somebody, best class, and we had to make a decision, so that way people can say we're wrong in the comments, which one do you think, Wizard or Necro? What gets the W for you?
I think Wizard's better in challenge drifts and PvP. That's what I think. I think the freezing ray, you make all packs easy. What's cool about the Wizard and challenge drifts too is you can swap your build midway. Because the way your Ray of Frost works, you only need one legendary item to make it OP, and then you can move your weapon and offhand into a different build, and so you can kind of run like a mix of builds, so boss killer and mass CC'er. So challenge drifts and Wizard, and PvP to Wizard. So I would say Wizard overall, because those are the two most important game modes in terms of difficulty. So.
Okay, fair enough. I obviously I'm going to go Necro just because I'm heavily biased. But you know what? On the real answer though is the joke answer aside. Like I don't think there's a way for me to say one's better than the other because, like you're saying, they're better in different things, and there is no real like super best class because the Wizard has things the Necro doesn't have, and if you value those things more as a player, it's going to be hard to tell you otherwise. I think that's kind of what I've learned about this game more than anything. If you're trying to be like the person who's getting the most kills in Battleground, there's a class for that. But if you're trying to be the person that there's a reason that the actual zealot itself is pushing, there's also a class for that. It's called Barbarian because you're not dying and you're standing on the zone the whole time. And maybe they're not getting the most kills and so shiny, but they're there the whole time and making it difficult for that thing to be defended, right? So because of that logic, it's hard for me to say there's a best class anymore, but I'm going to give it to Necromancer just because he looks like me.
Yeah, one thing to note when we're talking about this, just don't play Barb. Just don't play Monk.
Here we go.
These two are better than these classes. That's how you
need to know. Monk,
though.
I liked Monk. I had a good time playing Monk. Like, I actually thought Monk was...
They're fun.
It was the second most fun for me. It was Necro, then Monk, I think, was actually more fun than Wizard.
Yeah, I've been the free to play monks out there. They could do work. So if you want to be free to play, monks are the way to go, in my opinion. I've changed my mind from satyr to monk. So
the last time I got this Operation Demon Spire, I got 6 legendaries and 1 Elder Rift, no cap. You ever seen these?
Oh, okay, see. You have to make a video. If you get a 5-star from here, it's confirmed extra drop rate for legendary gems.
That was what people kept trying to tell me in my YouTube live streams, but I'm like, that's not the way it works. They're talking about legendary items. Like
that's what I was saying. Yeah, I've heard that so many times, but just real test, one test, good sample size. Let's go.
Yeah, just this is the one time. But all right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be it. We talked about the class today. I figure that's probably long enough of a little bit of we'll call this the mini podcast of what's the best class, I suppose. And if you want to catch more of Veldshot, there will be a pinned comment as well as in the description of a link to subscribe to his channel. Thanks for coming, man. Anything last you want to say to the people before we head on out the door?
Nope, I think we're good. Except we need a better cosmetic for Necro. I'm not going to lie. They're probably the worst.
I like the cosmetics, but yes, there is some bad. The Bloodsworn's garbage. Bloodsworn's not good. The weird hooded one is sus as it gets. And there's a couple changes that we made. I'll give you that. All right. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. We love you. We'll see you on the next video. And there is no best class. Play what you want because the game doesn't matter anyway. Okay, bye-bye.